Yo, what's up, Eagles fans? It's EROCK. Long time no talk. I know, listen, hey, no excuses. That's my bad. It's just a busy time of year for me. My brother got married over the weekend, work. Listen, I'm not trying to sit here and make excuses, but I thought, listen, hey, it's the off season. Everybody just chill, all right? The draft is over. Free agency is over, all right? Maybe I can just tiptoe and sneak away and be quiet for a while and enjoy life and everything. Everybody's just gonna be cool, all right? Everybody just calm down and be cool. But no, it's the Eagles off season and there's always something to talk about. So here I am. First and foremost, Carson Wentz's extension. And you guys know me, okay? You guys know I'm a Carson Wentz stan. I cape for the guy. I'm a huge fan of the guy. I believe in the guy. But I thought about making a video about this particular subject for a couple weeks now. And the reason why I didn't is because every morning I would wake up and I'd sort of like him and haw about the entire situation. Because, I mean, you knew this was going to happen, right? I mean, you knew at some point this organization had so much invested in number 11 that eventually they were going to give him an extension regardless of what happened this season. I just struggled to figure out whether it should be now or later. Now or later. Now or later. Much like my wife, I just couldn't make up my fucking mind. I could genuinely see both sides of the coin. I mean, I would hear a guy like Elliott Shore-Park say that he would rather overpay Carson Wentz at the end of the upcoming season, knowing full well what he's capable of, than pay him right now just to save a couple dollars. Yeah, I mean, I get it. But then again, they're gonna pay him. They were gonna pay him. They're gonna pay him. They're gonna pay him. They're gonna pay him regardless of what happened. Of what happened this season, whether or not he got injured, whether or not he played a full 16 games, how good he looked. They were gonna pay him. And you'd rather pay him now than later. Because seemingly every year, every offseason, like clockwork, you can set your fucking watch to it. Some quarterback signs a deal that is the biggest deal ever signed by an NFL player. This individual is making more money than any other quarterback in the history of the NFL. This right here is a record-breaking contract. 1 year later. Now this quarterback has signed the most lucrative deal in NFL history, being the top-paid athlete ever to strap on an NFL helmet. Every year. Same fucking thing. So while some fans might get hung up on the fact that Carson Wentz is getting paid the most amount of guaranteed money in NFL history, just know this. In a year, 2 years, 3 years, that's going to seem like a bargain. Because you wait till the next CBA when all the contracts are fucking guaranteed and you see the amount of money that these players are going to be getting paid. And if you think this contract is a lot of money, wait till you see the dumbass contract the Cowboys are going to sign Dak to. Now here's where I'm going to flip the script on you guys just a little bit because, again, you know me. I cape for the guy. I'm a Carson Wentz stan. I'm number 11 through and through, so on and so forth. We've already been through it. But this organization right here has done everything in their power to make Carson Wentz's current situation very comfortable. They gave him more weapons, both in the draft and via trade. Deshaun Jackson comes back home to Philadelphia. They draft themselves a wide receiver. They gave him a run game, something that he didn't have last year when he was pushing too hard. They trade for Jordan Howard. They draft themselves Booby. They got themselves a little Booby in the backfield. They secured the offensive line, both by signing guys that are already there, so there's no question on whether or not they were retiring. And they just drafted the left tackle of the future. They let Nick Foles walk. They let him walk. They let him go. So you should no longer need to look over your shoulder and wonder if the guy that won the Super Bowl is going to be up to bat. And now, you got yourself a fat new contract, which means you're going to be playing in this stadium for a long time. So what all that says to me, is that you're out of fucking excuses, all right? Better yet, I'm out of excuses. Because I made the mistake of being a McNabb apologist throughout his entire career until he got traded up to Washington. I'm not doing it again. The Eagles have made this situation as comfortable for you as it's going to get. It's never going to get better for you, Carson Wentz, than it is right here, right now. This is the most talented team. It's more talented than the one that won the Super Bowl. You don't have to look over your shoulder for Nick Foles taking your place. You don't got to worry about the fans clamoring or cheering for Nick Foles. You don't got to worry about any of it. All you got to worry about is winning. And that's all that matters. Winning. And if you don't win, that's on you. I believe he can do it. I know he can do it. I seen him do it. Now he needs to do it again. And listen, if you don't, I'm not making fucking excuses for you. I know this is going to piss some people off, but I'm saying my piece right here, right now. Moving on. Joe Douglas, new GM of the New York Jets. I would like to wish Joe Douglas well. I would like to thank him for his time with the Philadelphia Eagles. I would like to thank him for helping the Eagles win a Super Bowl. And to all the Eagles fans that are overreacting or very upset about Joe Douglas leaving, just know this. We're gonna be fucking fine. Listen, all right? First of all, no up-and-coming young NFL executive is meant to stay in one place as an assistant role for too long. So the Eagles, I mean, listen, when they hired the guy, they knew what kind of pedigree he was coming with. They knew eventually this day would come. Listen, second of all, guys, I mean, we've been down this road before. You just forget, but we have.
Oh no, Tom Heckert's leaving. Oh no, Ryan Griegson's leaving. Oh no, Tom Gamble's being escorted out of the building. Yeah, remember that one? Oh, those were the days.
And by reminding you of all of this, I'm not trying to discredit Joe Douglas or say that he won't do a good job with the New York Jets. All I'm saying is, listen, it's the NFL. These things happen. You thank them for their time. You appreciate what they've done for the organization. And you move on. Do you really think they didn't see this one coming? Really? 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 When they blocked Joe Douglas for interviewing with the Texans a year ago, they didn't see this one coming? Really? Really? Besides, Jeffrey Lurie spares no expense when it comes to what I can only describe as research and development for the acquisition of knowledge when it comes to the front office, especially when it comes to the scouting department and analytics. The Philadelphia Eagles lead the way in having an overcrowded room when it comes to the brightest young minds in the NFL, where you just cultivate this knowledge base that helps increase your chances to win. There's going to be another Joe Douglas. Just like there was another Tom Heikert, may God rest his soul. Just like there was another Tom Gamble. Just like there was another Ryan Grigson. There will be another Joe Douglas. It's not the end-all, be-all of the Philadelphia Eagles. Come on, guys, use your head. And I know there's a lot of people wondering why Joe Douglas would want to leave a situation like here in Philadelphia and go up to the dumpster fire that is the New York Jets. Look, there's only 32 of these jobs in the world. That's it. 32 NFL teams, 32 NFL GM positions. And of those 32 NFL GM positions, how many of them become available, I don't know, annually? 2, 3, 4, 5, maximum 5. And of those 2, 3, 4, 5 GM positions, how many of them are with a good organization and a good spot? Fucking none of them. None. You don't leave a good job. You don't leave when you're on top. You don't leave when things are going good. No, people are looking for new GMs to right the ship because right now things are shitty. So I wish Joe Douglas the best of luck with the New York Jets. Honestly, this is my take on the situation. I hope both Joe Douglas and Howie Roseman acquired enough information from each other while working together that makes them successful in the future. Because let's face it, Joe Douglas, great personnel guy, has great relationships around the league. Without Joe Douglas, you don't get a Jordan Howard on this team. Without Joe Douglas and his relationship with Adam Gase, you don't get a Jay Ajayi on this team. Without Joe Douglas and his relationship with the Baltimore Ravens, you don't move back in the first round so they can draft Lamar Jackson so you get an additional second-round pick and Dallas Goedert. That doesn't happen without Joe Douglas, but he's not a contract guy. Look, there's more to being an NFL GM than just stacking a fucking board. All right? So he's got his work cut out for him. I hope his time with the Eagles, more specifically Howie Roseman, was well spent learning exactly what Howie does. And more importantly, for this team right here, I hope Howie Roseman learned as much as he possibly can from Joe Douglas. Because let's face it, Howie's a great salary cap guy. He's a great manager of business. He knows how to make moves. He knows how to manipulate a cap. He knows how to go up and down a draft board. But the draft board is probably his weak spot. Let's face it, the draft board is his weak spot. So I hope he acquired enough information from Joe Douglas to make him more effective at that job. More importantly, I hope that he learned enough from Joe Douglas to realize that he can't take that on himself. And once again, the Eagles will surround him with the most brightest young minds in the NFL, and everything's gonna be okay. Right? Now, lastly, the Malcolm Jenkins situation. Of course, we've got to touch on that one. He reportedly reported the mandatory OTAs, and for the life of me, I can't figure out why this is a fucking thing at all. One of the things that makes me so proud about being an Eagles fan is the way this organization is connected to the players and the way the players are connected to the community. It's a good organization with a lot of good people that do a lot of good things. I mean, this weekend, Deshaun Jackson and Malcolm Jenkins were out there feeding the homeless, just spreading goodwill in the communities of Philadelphia and Camden. And this team has rewarded players that sacrifice for the better good of this organization. They took care of Jason Kelce. They took care of Jason Peters. They just took care of Carson Wentz. They took care of Nick Foles when he was Super Bowl MVP. And they didn't have to, but they did because it was the right thing to do. Throwing Malcolm Jenkins a bone is the right fucking thing to do. It just is. He's the most important player on this defense. He is. He's not the best player, that's Fletcher Cox, but he is the most important player on this defense. Without Malcolm Jenkins last year, the Eagles don't make the playoffs. I want you to follow along on this train of thinking very closely. Carson Wentz goes down. Nick Foles comes in, they make the playoffs. Jason Peters checking himself out of games. Big V's got to come in, doesn't matter, they go to the playoffs. Both corners go down with injuries. Doesn't matter. They still go to the playoffs. But if Malcolm Jenkins isn't there as the glue of that secondary, a patchwork secondary filled with practice squad players, guys from other practice squads, dudes they just found on the street, unless Malcolm Jenkins is there being a coach on the field, being a leader in the locker room, keeping that whole defensive unit cohesive and communicating, the Eagles do not make the fucking playoffs last year. Does that make sense to you guys? Do you understand that? Without him, no playoffs. Without Carson, still playoffs. Without Peters, still playoffs. Without any of the without Alshon Jeffrey in the beginning of the season, still playoffs. No Malcolm Jenkins, no fucking playoffs. Pay the guy, god damn it. And I'm sure he's not asking for the world here, all right? You took care of everybody else. Take care of Malcolm. Throw the man a fucking bone. He earned it. He earned it. Appreciate you guys hanging in on this video, those of you who made it all the way to the end. I haven't even time-stamped this thing, but I already know it's going to be long and long-winded, but it's been a long time since I've been on camera, and I had a lot on my mind and a lot I wanted to discuss. I promise next time I won't wait so long to make a video, so you guys got to sit through all this bullshit. 4th and John should be back in one form or another. One form of it or another, mid-July, late July, right around the time when training camp starts. So until then, let's go Birds, and I will see you soon. I promise. I'm not going to leave you hanging. I'll see you soon, baby.